Greetings, dear Ukrainians. Today we had a couple of reports from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Minister Ihor Klimenko and other law enforcement officers on the investigation of the terrorist attack in Lviv. Another qualification is difficult to choose. It was a cynical and cruel terrorist attack. 2 explosions. The second was when emergency services arrived at the scene. 25 people were injured. Unfortunately, one person, a police officer, died at the scene. She was 23 years old. She had my condolences to her family and friends. Now everyone who was injured is provided with help. There are many injured. Doctors are doing everything possible to save lives. The circumstances of this terrorist attack are now being fully analyzed. There are already many facts. The perpetrators were recruited via telegram. The organization of the terrorist attack is Russian. The Ministry of Internal Affairs, the National Police of Ukraine, the Security Service of Ukraine represent the details of the society. I have decided to carry out such measures, such a reaction, to prevent similar crimes. There is already a certain experience of counteraction of our law enforcement officers. Dozens of similar situations are not allowed. Ukrainian law enforcement officers are constantly counteracting such recruits. They need more activity and more involvement of the public. The involvement of local leaders, government institutions, everyone. We need to do everything possible to reduce the Russian possibilities of organizing terrorist attacks and sabotage in the Ukrainian rear. We have intelligence data that the Russians are going to continue to do such things, such attacks on Ukrainians. We need more protection for people. Today, at the Selector, not for the first time, we talked with representatives of the region about a new Russian tactic of massive strikes. When the targets are more and more often logistics facilities, especially railways, as well as facilities that work on water supply. And it is very important that everyone is aware of such a threat and, accordingly, work in defense. The Air Defense, the Ministry of Defense, government institutions also received the necessary tasks. I assume that at all levels the work will be joint and, in fact, operational. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine together with our military must also strengthen the protection from Russian drones in the border areas, where there are more and more attacks against civilian vehicles, against rescuers, against our repair brigades. The experience of our front regions must be quite effective, widespread in the Sumy region, as well as in Chernivtsi. One more thing is worth noting about our soldiers, who this week increased the distance, increased the range of our Ukrainian troops. Ukraine is more and more dependent on Russian-made weapons, and we must be grateful to everyone in Ukraine who works for this, who achieves the same results in the combat use of our Ukrainian missiles, in our deep strikes.